Good morning one and all. Now in today's class we'll be studying about distribution. First let us understand what is the meaning of distribution and then we can study their merits and demerits. Distribution means what? How the goods are being distributed from one place to the other. Okay. For that certain channel of distribution will be there. What is a channel of distribution? Like there will be manufacturer, then wholesaler, retailer, consumer will be there. So through this flow or this channel of distribution, the goods are being distributed from one place to the other. That is called as a distribution. Okay. Now simple example is there. Now suppose how the books are being distributed. Now there is one book center, Bangalore book center, and from there the books are being distributed to different bookstalls, and then it will be distributed to the end consumer. So that is called as distribution. Distribution means what? How the goods have been distributed, and there is a channel of distribution. Like manufacturer is there, then comes what? Wholesaler, then retailer and consumer. Now let us study what are the merits and demerits. Now these are the points you can understand based on that. The first merit is what? Supplier is able to pass on risk associated with the product. Now who is called as a supplier? Suppliers, they supply the goods from one place to the other, and these supplier is able to pass on risk associated with the product. Now I will give you one simple example, that we will take example of the books. Now suppose if the consumer will go to the bookstore and he will purchase one book, and after that he will come to understand that the books are in the book which he has purchased, it is not in a proper condition. Maybe the pages have been torn or there is a printed mistake and all that. So who is responsible for that particular damage in that particular book? So here supplier should bear whatever the risk is there associated with the product. Okay. Now suppose what happens, consumer is not responsible for such kind of the defect or damage which is there. It is the main who has manufactured that particular product. Means proper inspection or proper checking has to be done whether the books are in a proper condition or not. Okay. Then afterwards only they should be appointed different distributors are there and different suppliers are there who will try to supply these goods from one place to the other, and that much risk is been involved. Then next one, distributor is motivated to sell the stock purchased from the supplier. Now here the distributors are there. As I've told you, certain distributors will be appointed and they are motivated to sell the stock purchased from the supplier. Now these distributors, when they are distributing the goods, okay, now we have taken example of the books which are there. So they are motivated to sell that particular stock. Then a supplier will not incur any liability as a result of distributor activity. Now here whatever liability has been there, means whatever the loss or whatever debt amount is there, the supplier will not incur that particular liability or debt as a result of the distributor activity. Now always it is not all the time that the company will be always their sales will be increasing or always they will be getting profit. It is not like that. At times any kind of the loss also may take place or any defect or damage may be there in that whichever the goods are there. Then the appointment of a distributor will avoid the need for supplier requiring an established place of business. Now here as I've told you, there is a channel of distribution. Means according to the channel of distribution, the proper process or proper flow of goods will take place. So here they will try to appoint the distributor, okay, and then whatever the distributor's responsibility is there to distribute the goods to various places. Then a supplier will only need to monitor in accordance with the distributor. Now here what is the main responsibility of the supplier? They should need to monitor. Monitor means what? They should need to check whatever is there in accordance with the distributor, whether the goods have been properly distributed or any they are facing any difficulties or problems in between. Now suppose if the order is been placed, now just think that one company is there and they will place an order on this particular date. So whatever date is been mentioned, on that particular date only the order has to be taken place, means the order should be placed on that particular date. Now suppose what happens if there is any delay. Delay means what? The date was been mentioned on this date itself, the goods are to reach on that particular time or that particular date, but suppose it becomes delay or late, okay, then how it can be compensated? Means here what all difficulties or problems will take place in case of distributing the products. And usually what happens, when the distributor is distributing the goods, he should need to properly monitor. Monitor means what? He needs to properly monitor or check whether the goods are in a proper condition or not. Like suppose we have taken an example of the books which are there. Now suppose if the books are not in a proper condition, the pages are not proper, printing mistake is there, and some pages are missing and all, okay, so that should not take place. Means complete whatever the monitoring or proper checking of the books has to be done. It is not only the books, whichever other goods are also there, okay, proper checking or proper monitoring of the books has to be done. Then no compensation is payable to a distributor upon determination of distributorship agreement. Now here there will be a proper agreement that, okay, whatever he gets, whatever proper distribution will be done, based on that only compensation will be given. Like suppose for example, there is one salesman and he has sold the good to a customer. In return he will get that particular compensation. So these are all about the merits of distribution. Now only you need to remember that distribution means what? How the goods are being distributed to various places, from one place to the other. Now here it depends upon the distance covered also, whether it is a short distance the goods have been distributed or a long distance. Then these were the merits of distribution, and a proper flow of whatever channel of distribution is to be followed, and supplier is able to pass on risk associated with the product, okay, means whatever risk is been involved. Like we have taken example of, okay, a book center is there, and if a customer he will purchase one book from a book center and afterwards he will come to understand that the books are not in a proper condition, it has been found little damaged, okay, or some pages are missing, there is one printing mistake and all that. So these all defects which are been found in the book, okay, afterwards what happens if the consumer he purchased that particular book which is there, okay, then later on he finds such defects or damaged, then the risk will be involved on part of the shop, okay, or the manufacturing process. Then distributor is motivated to sell the stock purchased from the supplier. Now here distributor he should be motivated to sell the stock purchased from the supplier. Then a supplier will not incur any liability, okay, means whatever the debt or whatever the loss is been incurred, the supplier will not incur. Then the appointment of a distributor will avoid the need for supplier requiring an established place of business. Now all these points we have already seen, and a supplier will only need to monitor in accordance with the distributor. Now whatever, if the goods are being distributed from one place to the other, they should do proper inspection and checking whether the goods are in a proper condition or not. If the goods have been found little defect or damaged goods are there, okay, that time what happens, the customer also will come into loss, and whatever the distribution process is there, based on that compensation will be paid, or how much remuneration will be given to the distributor. Now these were the merits. Now apart from that we will study the two demerits which are there. In that first one is the supplier has limited control over activities of distributor. Now here the supplier who is there, who is supplying the goods from one place to the other, he has limited control over the activities of the distributor, means that much control cannot be done over the distributor. Now in case of this, whatever the risk is been involved, Okay, now here we cannot have an effective control over the distributor. Then under distributorship, supplier enters credit risk in respect of sales is concentrated on the distributor. Now here what happens, as I've told you that now when the distributor is distributing the goods to various places, he should keep in mind that, okay, now main important thing is what, when the order is been placed, he should keep in mind that whether the quantity is there, okay, quantity of goods, whether good quality is there, design, okay. So these all things should be kept in mind. Now how much quantity of goods have been ordered, that much quantity of goods are to be sold, means supplied to that particular company. And also they should check whether the goods are in a proper condition, means there is a good quality product, okay. Then also they should check that design and all. So these all will come in this part. Now whenever the order is been placed from one company to the other company, like that only the order should not be placed. How much order of goods has been done. Now take example that there are two companies, one is ABC Limited and one is XYZ Limited. So one company ABC Limited, that company will place an order with XYZ Limited company. So that time they will mention that these many quantity of goods we require, like just think that they require something 50 quantity of goods. So the number which they have mentioned, 50 quantity of goods, that is the quantity. And apart from that, the date when they need to supply that particular product, means when the order has to be placed on this particular date, and also what quality of that product should be there, okay. So mentioning all that, the distributor has to place a proper order. So this is all about distribution. So only you need to remember that the channel of distribution is there. Through what flow or process of channel of distribution the goods are being supplied from one place to the other, okay. Regarding how much order is been placed, by which company order they have been placed, and basic terms you need to remember that who is called as a supplier, who is a distributor, okay. Then how the goods are being distributed, and also you need to remember in case of any kind of a defect or damage of any kind of goods or any loss is been incurred, how they can try to overcome such kind of the losses, and it is at the risk of which, okay, at the risk of whom, that is the supplier or the distributor. So this is all about the distribution, and these are the merits and demerits.